When America's playground, New Orleans, Louisiana, wants to go out and play, where does it go? Full steam ahead to the North Shore of Lake Pontchartrain. What the Big Easy has known for more than a century about the North Shore is that there's a whole other world on the other side. The outside world. A place to play.
Oh, look at him. He's on a roll, baby.
A place to commune with nature.
Where is the Honey Island Swamp Monster?
Out there.
He's just out there.
He's somewhere out there.
A place to feel the wind in your hair and the sun on your face.
On the water, everybody's friendly. When they wave, they use the entire hand.
Going outside on the North Shore means getting wild.
All right, Mike, get set, go. Okay, start running. Serpentine, serpentine. Now come back, serpentine, serpentine.
Outside means getting some major air and some serious downtime. It's time to listen to your mom and go outside and play.
I got 5 more minutes till I get gone. And there ain't no changing the road I'm on.
The North Shore of Lake Pontchartrain has a history of adventure and a tradition of doing things differently. And today, St. Tammany Parish is still its own place, unlike any other. Historically speaking, the reason it became the hip place to escape to in the 19th century is still the reason why people come today. Nature. Healing and exhilarating nature. Adventure can be found in the hundreds of miles of waterways and more than 80,000 acres of wildlife refuge. In fact, the only thing you can escape on the North Shore is adventure. Because here, adventure is calling.
Bayou Adventure and Justice of the Peace. This is Shannon. May I help you? Yes, we have live shrimp, cockahos, shiners. Well, Bayou Adventure is the sole definitive source for outdoor recreation supplies on the North Shore. We rent kayaks and bikes, so you can enjoy what St. Tammany Parish has to offer. And then, of course, for the fishermen, for the novice and the professionals, we have everything from, live bait and tackle, fishing gear and supplies, crab bait supplies, live bait, dead bait, stinky bait, all of it.
Fishy smells can wait. Going Lewis and Clark seems to be the best way to answer this call of the wild.
Enjoy yourself and just soak it all in.
Marco.
Remember, just hit that paddle flat on the water if you see an alligator and you don't like the way he's looking at you. You can see things here that you can't see anywhere else. This is what Louisiana is about. We are surrounded by Big Branch National Wildlife Refuge. We have Fontainebleau State Park.
A journey into this irreplaceable environment was not always easy. But Bayou Adventure has become a modern-day outpost, where getting back to nature is as easy as going to any water park. But this is the original water park.
We want everybody to come here and see the wildlife and experience it and experience Louisiana, and that is Lacombe.
Lacombe is a quiet and quirky fishing and crabbing community. Maybe more quirky than quiet.
What's so special, I think, about Lacombe is the people. If you're in Lacombe and you're not a character, you stand out.
Bayou Adventure is character central and the community's unofficial fishing headquarters.
We will tell them, who's catching, what, where, and how. They just walk in the door, they don't have to do anything.
Not doing anything is the way I like to fish.
By the way, as we're doing this, you know what's happening across the United States?
Snow. Lots of snow. But we here in Lacombe must plow ahead. Without a motor, kayak fishing transports you not only to where the bounty is, but to a place of tranquility.
And this is what really matters. Spending quality time and some quiet time with yourself, with your friends, with your family. This is what it's about.
This is what it's about.
This is what it's about.
The zen of fishing.
That first one. There we go.
Yeah. We're here for a couple minutes and you're already
That's a
bringing
good
things.
start to dinner.
Like all things Louisiana, even local fishing tournaments are all about eating.
This is what we do in Bayou Lacombe at Bayou Adventure. This is what we do. We cook red fish sauce pecan, and we fry good fish over here.
You gotta
It's some
catch
good
it
stuff.
first, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, God give me the nature to do that.
We're having a customer appreciation crawfish boil, celebrating the kickoff of this tournament. That's Forest Green's first tournament.
And I am Forrest Green, but everybody call me Mr. Green. That's my new nickname now, Mr. Green.
People have been bugging him for about 30 years to do one, and he finally is.
Mr. Green embodies the friendly nature of Lacombe.
I can teach you how to fish, I promise you. I can teach you how to fish. That's right. That's right.
You know, a whole family can come in here and just find an array of things that will satisfy what everybody wants to do, which is hard to do in a big family.
More than just family memories, here at Bayou Adventure, you can reel in the catch of a lifetime.
I am the elected Justice of the Peace. We are gathered here today to celebrate one of life's greatest moments. So we have court here, I do weddings here. They must speak now or forever hold their peace. She got me hook, line, and sinker. I got married at the bait shop. That's what the shirts are gonna say. The bumper stickers should say that, right?
Here at Shannon's place, her passion for this way of life is contagious. And that is the true catch. If you're looking to escape your commitments, there are paths you can take on the North Shore.
The Tammany Trace is a 31-mile resurfaced bike path that runs all the way through St. Tammany Parish, connecting all of our major towns.
Tammany Trace is a Rails to Trails program that starts in Covington, Louisiana, all the way to Slidell, Louisiana, stopping through Abita, Mandeville, and Lacombe.
What do I need to know?
Stay to the right. If you need to pass anybody, still on your left.
On your left. On your left. Do I need padding? I might.
Once going the right way, I headed off on the track of the once mighty Illinois Central Railroad. Today, instead of trains, bikes, rollerblades, and running shoes now do their own version of the locomotion.
There's a lot of people out there that really like riding bicycles, whether it be hard riding. You see a lot of people out here riding, 100 miles a day, and this is our group for riding the slow bikes.
No matter how you pedal, the Trace offers both scenic views and cool brews.
It's pretty interesting when you're in Covington. You're a little more north, so you're going to see a lot of longleaf pines and hardwood trees. As you get south towards Mandeville, it starts to become a little more marshy, a little more swampish, so you go through several different ecosystems. There's several breweries on the Trace, several cool little spots to eat, and several things for the kids as well.
If you are on the move, whatever moves you can be found on the Trace.
It's been raved as one of the top 5 in the country by a lot of cyclists that have come through, and they really enjoyed what the Trace had to offer, because there's a lot of cool stuff to do on the Trace.
With all its mystery and beauty, Louisiana's constantly changing coast demands to be explored by getting on the water. The same water that created and nurtures this distinctive wilderness.
In this environment here in St. Tammany Parish, there is so much diversity within just this one area around here. I mean, our tour today covered about 10 miles. And in that, we just covered 2 huge ecosystems and saw an incredible diversity of plants and animal life.
Minutes away from downtown Slidell is the Pearl River Eco Tour, where today Captain John is guiding us through the North Shore's pristine swamps.
Right now we're in the lower end of the Honey Island Swamp. This swamp is actually what we call the Pearl River Wildlife Management Area. It covers an area of over 250 square miles.
Not just a tour, but a passage into the primordial Pearl of Louisiana.
To the south, you've got a marsh swamp. To the north, you've got a hardwood swamp. It's the most unaltered swamp ecosystem in Louisiana. See all that red sap right in there? See how reddish it is? That's the chemical, those chemicals called tannin. We really try to get into a more in-depth understanding of how all this works together, so that when they come back, they can look out here and they understand why these trees are growing the way they are, why the birds are here that are here, what they're feeding on, what's growing everywhere, and how this whole thing combines into one great big ecosystem.
In the Honey Island Swamp, there are said to be some of the most primitive and untouched areas in America.
This is our version of the Grand Canyon.
This really gets into the swamp.
A lot of times we spot wild hogs and pigs and raccoons running along in there. They like to bed down in these kind of areas at night. I was hoping maybe we'd spot even some wild hogs running through here, but I don't
Honey
see.
Island swamp monsters?
You never know.
Luckily, on our tour, we are joined by author, filmmaker, and granddaughter of Harlan Ford, the man who first tracked the legendary Bayou Beast.
We call it Honey Island Swamp Monster, but it's in the Bigfoot type family.
How big are we talking?
My grandfather stood 6'4", and it was taller than him. He said it was between like 7 and 8. You know, he was looking, you know, right at this thing, and he said it was very menacing looking.
Harlan Ford, an air traffic controller, went public only when he had evidence, a full 11 years after his initial sighting.
My grandfather first saw it in 1963, but I've interviewed 13 eyewitnesses who have had an encounter. He's out there somewhere.
What would you say to the Honey Island swamp monster?
Don't eat me.
No monsters today, but at every turn, the tour is full of the creatures that call the Honey Island swamp home.
Oh, look, we got little raccoons over here. I'm gonna come over here and feed them here.
Oh, look at them.
Oh, isn't that cute? Now, raccoons, guys, are only indigenous to the North American continent of the United States and Canada. I had a pet raccoon for 8 years as a kid. He learned how to turn the water on. That's when I had to get rid of him because he didn't know how to turn it off.
Sometimes getting back to nature means getting an education.
So is this place in danger?
What's endangering it more than anything else is erosion. Erosion on the coast is slowly moving up into here. And again, it's all about the water. But if that balance changes, the things change with it.
Take this journey through the wetlands wild kingdom, and you will never think of a swamp in the same way.
Louisiana is over 70% wetlands, and we have the longest coast. If you take our coastline, which is not just straight across, but all the bayous and everything counts as coastline in and out and everything, Louisiana has more coastline than anywhere else in the country.
Remember when your mom warned you not to get wet when you go outside to play?
No, Tommy.
That rule doesn't apply in St. Tammany Parish.
I know what you mean.
Here, water is everywhere and everything, and there's so many ways to get immersed.
There's just so many available places to paddle. That's what makes the North Shore a great place to stand-up paddle.
That's right, stand-up paddleboarding has arrived in downtown Covington, and it's my chance to hang 10 for the first time. I think the guys that invented paddleboarding ever thought it would be down a bayou in the swamps of Louisiana?
I doubt it. You know, because every day people are trying new bodies of water. That's what's so great about stand-up paddling. The biggest growth will be in the inner states of the country where there's rivers and lakes. That's where people are going to be expanding the sport, and that's what we're doing here.
We're expanding the sport, people.
There's so many different places to paddle. There's lakes, there's rivers. You know, we paddled within really a half a mile here, and you can get without an earshot of cars. You can see the wildlife.
Everybody was surfing Louisiana.
There's so many places, so many bodies of water just within a 10-minute drive around here. That's what makes it a great place to paddle, honestly.
Mark Silvetti is a surfer who calls the North Shore home. And combining both with his love of getting out on the water was a natural.
To a lot of people that have been surfing for forever or kayakers, stand-up paddling offers just a whole new way to experience the outdoors in water because you're standing at head height above the water. You can see a long way. You can see the fish swimming in the water. And for surfers, it's an incredible experience. It's just a great new way to experience surfing and a new way to play. And that's what it is. It's a new way to play on the water.
A new way to play with a whole new perspective. And the closest this big kahuna is ever gonna get to shredding the coast. Going with the flow can have so many different meanings on the water.
This is slow, lazy Louisiana River.
Tubing comes in one speed, and that is pure turtle, which is the right speed to spend a lazy afternoon on the Boga Cheetah.
This is the real Louisiana, right there. Nature at its best. You can see thousands of kind of birds out here, fish, and you can relax. Your phone's not gonna ring. So I think that's part of the charm for a lot of people.
Tubing is a floating picnic with a very wet bar. Your cooler even gets a tube.
I wish I had longer arms.
This slow meander can take either 2 or 4 hours, but time matters less than the laughter.
You can be with your friends and laugh and smile and relax. It's like a big recliner in the water.
My lazy boy hitched a ride with somebody from the Pacific Northwest.
Man, Portland, Oregon would not have been discovered if Lewis and Clark just decided to tube down those rivers.
Maybe it's being in nature or the beer, but you will have stories to tell. Maybe.
Oh yeah, whatever happens in the Boga Cheetah stays on the Boga Cheetah.
By the way, this is how you dress for tubing. In case you're European, no Speedos, alligators dig Speedos.
I've never seen an alligator in this river. I don't think there are alligators in this river, but if you were wearing a Speedo, you deserve to see an alligator and get bit on the butt.
There is almost as many ways to get out on the water as there is waterways in St. Tammany. Most of these modes of transportation, from canoes to steamboats, are at the Wooden Boat Festival in Madisonville.
We attract boats from all over the Northeast, the Southeast, and the Gulf Coast come to the Wooden Boat Festival here at Madisonville.
The Lake Pontchartrain Basin Maritime Museum is port of call for Louisiana's unique nautical history and culture. And once a year, hundreds of these floating reminders to a lost art will line the banks of the Tchefuncte River, as over 30,000 aqua nuts and landlubbers come to celebrate wood and water.
The historical significance of the wooden boats is hard to replace. If you've ever ridden in a wooden boat, the feel of a wooden boat, the very nature of it, it has a life to it that a fiberglass boat just does not.
Madisonville's Wooden Boat Festival has become the largest gathering of watercraft on the Gulf Coast, and a testimony that these waterways still connect people today. When a boat ride isn't radical enough, there are alternatives on the water.
Louisiana is a sportsman paradise, so people are definitely quick to get in the water and try something new.
Flyboarding is the latest extreme sport to hit the Gulf.
There are no special strengths, no balance. You don't need to know how to skateboard, snowboard, ski. Anyone can try it. You don't need any kind of special talent.
No talent required? Check.
Arms back, straighten out your legs.
Yes, even a vertically challenged television host can try this, and he's about to right now.
Get up, get in. We're getting back together again. Get up, get in.
I really love coming to Tchefuncte to do this because of the water channel here is very calm, it's protected, and there's really not that much traffic. It's a beautiful place. Everywhere you look, there's cypress trees and people and beautiful boats. It's a really nice spot. Yep.
By connecting a hose from a jet ski to a flyboard, the bonds of gravity are broken. Sometimes.
A jet ski motor pumps 235 horsepower, which equivalates to 10,000 gallons per minute, into a hose that goes through into a flyboard that you stand on. Most people think when they see me doing it, they think he's crazy. He must be nuts. Look what he's doing. This is crazy. But then when they try it, they're like, I just did it. This is easy. Anybody can do it. You have to come try it.
Then it happens. From zero to hero. You go from being a buoy to swimming like a dolphin to this. I am Iron Man.
So get up, get in. When you flyboard, it gives you a feeling like none other. You're flying 30 feet in the air, you feel the wind, you're looking at the clouds, you feel like Superman. It's hard for me to describe. I've done it probably 75 times and I still can't describe it.
One word described it for me: fun. And I just did it once, but I will do it again, next time with more airtime.
Get up, get in. Get up, get in.
Looking for a more leisurely way to go outside and play? I will be canoeing the Cane Bayou, just outside of Mandeville, near the Fontainebleau State Park. My guide is Greyhawk Perkins, a Native American historian, tribal storyteller, and musician. Today we get back to nature, 300 years back.
Basically, you're looking at an area that has been occupied by Native people for thousands of years. I mean, how many people can say they can come to an area that's still intact, that your ancestors were a couple thousand years ago?
Do you feel the spirits when you're out here?
Oh yeah, I definitely feel the spirit of my people, the Muskogean people, and all the Chifukta people that were here. You know, you can feel that spirit.
The spirits are inescapable as you make your escape from the cellular world to the primordial.
You don't hear the sounds of cars, and you don't hear the sounds of what we call civilization. So it's great to come out and just imagine how it was, you know, about 300 years ago, before St. Tammany was called St. Tammany, you know. And the same animals, same vegetation. I mean, it's just great. I mean, that's why I love being out here.
You bring me out here and then all of a sudden you start talking about animals that have been around for 300 years.
Well, and you know what's funny? You get on the road, you're 5 minutes and you're downtown Mandeville. But you could come in here and you've got bobcat, you got wild pigs, you got eagles, you got ospreys, you got hawks, you name it. I mean, they're all out here. Alligators, I mean, it's right here.
Alligators. There's always alligators everywhere.
Hidden in the woods in Covington is Instigator's Ranch and Hatchery, part of the reason for the comeback of Louisiana's most ancient resident.
Instigator Ranch could only happen in Louisiana.
There's no question about it. What the Wildlife and Fisheries has done to create this program of protection hasn't been created anywhere else in the United States. And to put it into perspective, this program has worked so well that we have more alligators in the state of Louisiana than there are in the entire rest of the world combined.
Following governmental guidelines, ranches like this have hatched and returned over 1 million alligators to the Louisiana marsh, resulting in the fastest population increase of any wild animal through man's intervention.
In the 60s, when they realized they needed to do something, the population in Louisiana of wild alligators was about 150,000. Today, here we are at a population at very close to 3 million.
There's only 4 million people in Louisiana. There's almost an alligator per person in this state.
Yeah, and we'd like man to be greater populated than alligators.
Instigator Ranch is home to nearly 2,000 alligators, and they're all waiting for you to stop on by.
These guys are looking at me like I'm lunch. No. This butterball is not for you.
There are a lot of ranchers hatching alligators, but they're not inviting the public. Instigator Ranch is a publicly offered facility.
Oh, Jesse, you got a nice one, sweetie. You sure do.
This ranch is a hands-on experience. Once endangered, these gators are now the focus of this educational and entertaining excursion. And if you come at the right time, you can discover why Instigators is also called a hatchery.
Just go, wake up, little gator.
The wonder of nature in the palm of your hands.
Want a little help there?
Okay, there we go. Let's put those hands together.
And you see it when little kids, 3, 4, 5 years old,
Now you wanna put 'em in
are
the
having
water?
these alligators in their hands. You see it in their face, just total amazement.
It's an awesome experience, and this is really, to the best of my knowledge, the only place you can come and hatch a baby alligator.
I don't know nothing about birthing no gators.
We've certainly found that the alligators are pretty tough animals, and so they can handle being handled at birth.
Oh, look at that. Oh, my. I guess I do know something about birthing some alligators. That is cool. That is really cool.
We just decided that it was too great of an opportunity to miss out.
In the end, that's a perfect way not only to describe instigators, but the nature of the North Shore. It's too great of an opportunity to miss. The chance to experience all of its beauty, mystery, and abundance.
We call it the sportsman's paradise because just the amount of wildlife, fish life, everything out here is just so amazing, and we embrace it and we protect it. It's part of our culture. We're tied to it.
To discover the true spirit of Louisiana, you have to go outside and play.
Time to come out. There's a whole world of Louisiana out there just waiting for you.
The wild side of St. Tammany is waiting. So turn off the TV and go outside and play.